Hola tribe, welcome to the House of Kai. So today is a Dear Kai question, more of witnessing people's expressions of their experiences as we move through what I would refer to as a collective dark night of the soul, right? So what does that mean, a collective dark night of the soul? Well, a dark night of the soul is an experience that each individual is meant to experience multitudes of times on their journey. It will not happen just once, it happens a whole bunch of times. Excuse me, and it is an experience where one meets, you could generically say, our shadows, yet we meet experiences, we meet trauma that isn't who we are per se, it isn't who our soul is, but it's an energy reflection of what our soul is experiencing, or where there is separation from our soul. So let me see if I can say that again. So a dark night of the soul experience is when we have created, right? There's a creation in our world, an experience within our world that reflects back to us things that we really don't want to see or deal with about ourselves. And when you claim ownership of those things, you experience an ego death, right? You experience aspects of yourself shedding off. You have to let go of old, outworn perceptions of yourself or patterns of who you are, and you shed them off so that you can become stronger. And the reason they refer to it as the dark night of the soul is because as your soul is going through this experience, it is up to you to meet these experiences with, well, it's up to you. You're going to meet those experiences whatever vibration you choose to. However, ideally, you meet these experiences with love. So, what is the dark night of the soul? Is when you're going through dark experiences, some of which that you can literally see having been expressed in your outside reality, right? Like something is happening in your outside reality that is showing you where you're not in alignment. Your reality is not in alignment with the vibration of your soul. And so in order to get into alignment with the vibration of your soul, you have this experience, and it is up to you, the individual, to, keeps itching my nose, to meet that experience with love. Because the more love you can shine on those areas, the more love you can hold within your body, the more radiant of a being you are, right? The more your lantern shines, the more you become bigger and brighter, right? It is true, those who shine the brightest are the ones who have gone through the most hell. Yeah. Those beings that glow, right? When you see them, and they literally can take your breath away. They glow so much. You don't even know why you're so drawn to them. You're just like, whoa, look at how bright that being is. They're the ones who have, their soul has journeyed and experienced depths of pain and have chosen to still hold love while they're walking through hell, right? So what is it that I'm saying is that we're having a collective dark night of the soul. So There are a lot of beings all going through a dark night of the soul right now. They're having a die-off, and we're all doing it together. It's pretty profound. And I don't ever like to claim to be a religious person. I am a soul having experiences. I don't like to categorize underneath one, definitely not under a dogma. However, I guess that's why I don't categorize, because there is too much dogma. I personally see how all religions are one, that the original creation of that belief system was intended to be rooted in love. Each belief system has been created and within the exact framework to which that community and tribe needed, right? So there are so many different belief systems all having similar stories and prophets, right? There are so many different ones that all have the same. And each one, if you look at the culture and how it was created, or not even how, what's the word I'm looking for? Hold on. So, I apologize, I got a little ahead of myself. Each belief system is intended to hold a root vibration. Okay? That intended pulse root vibration is love, right? Is love. And the stories that have been applied to that love typically reflect the tribe that is experiencing the stories, right? So Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, right? There is some prophet, right? Some being that holds a vibration and draws people in. Now, again, they're all the same. For me anyway. And most recently, I've been seeing a lot of information going across my newsfeed, especially around Christian and Jesus, Yeshua. And I'm seeing and witnessing the pain. I really am. There's so much pain. This is what I was going to say. There was a person who had made a comment of how like a dark energy, the potentiality of dark energies overtaking and reversing that of the cross. Oh my goodness. That is the light inside of you. That is the light inside of you. So they are putting this picture on an outside story that has been so outdated, okay, that it no longer holds the depth of that truth. And that is why they're experiencing so much internal turmoil. When they realize that the light they're talking about is the light inside, right? So when we allow dark energies to attach to our being, our cells, anything inside of us, it casts shadow, right? It weakens you. So in this reference point, they were talking about the light and the cross. And so as I communicated, each one of us here carries a cross. Each one of us carries some level of burden. And when we choose to face those burdens from a place of anger or resentment, then what we're doing is taking our light and we're darkening it. We're darkening our own light. So when we choose to carry that cross with love, right? Love. One, the cross becomes lighter, right? It becomes lighter. Yet, the light amplifies. So I'm going to go into this whole story of Yeshua, right? So a little bit, most people know the generic story of Christ, yet let's just generically talk about it here, that Jesus died so that we could live a life immortal, right? So Jesus carried the original seed of the Christ light. Remember that. Jesus carried the original seed of the Christ light. He carried that light into the underworld and was risen afterwards, right? So that light became immortal, right? Best way of saying it. The light of Christ became immortal because he took that light, he went through the underbelly, and he came out the other side, right? He did that so everyone could carry that light. He did that so every human being could carry that Christ light. So why would we be any different? Every last one of us carries the Christ light, and every last one of us will have to carry some level of a cross or a burden in our lives so that we can prove not only to ourselves, but to the universal energies around us that we too are Christed. Every last one of us carries the Christ light. Do you choose to be Christed? Carrying your cross and amplifying the light, right? So some of us carry bigger crosses than others. Some of us carry very conscious crosses. Some people carry crosses that it's more simplified. It's not any less. It is not any less, let me tell you. Every cross is freaking heavy. It's a heavy cross and a heavy burden to bear. Can you still hold love? Can you still hold a pure heart? Now, here's the thing. So I'll give you an example. Over the years of my journey, I've had multitudes of addictions and things that I've let go of. One of which has been cigarettes, right? So smoking of tobacco. So in doing so, I'd heard all these rumors. I heard all these stories of oh, you gain weight when you do that. What else was there? Oh, people get angry. All these kinds of stories and behaviors that can transpire when a human being lets go of an addiction, especially something like tobacco, right? And so I realized, I went, well, why would I be angry at another human being? They didn't cause the addiction. They didn't cause that withdrawal. They didn't cause my experience that I'm having. I did. So how dare I? How dare I get angry at them for my cross, my shit, right? So it was a hard lesson to learn, but I learned it pretty fast and realized that I was really, really kind to people, sometimes probably nice, And that's okay. But I was really, really kind to people during those processes because I knew that it wasn't anyone else's fault for my experience, right? So realizing that it's not anyone else's fault, for that experience. Turn that fan off. So, the other thing of when I quit smoking, so the weight gain was always a projection. I lost weight every time I quit smoking cigarettes, and there was a few reasons. One, I took complete accountability for every single thing going in my mouth because I knew that I would want to replace food for that. So what I would do is every time I went to eat, I said, is it really a cigarette that I want, or am I actually hungry? And that made me question what I was doing, and I was like, oh, I'm actually hungry, or I really want a cigarette, oh, then go drink some water, right? So true accountability for those moments and claiming it, right? Loving myself and loving other people. That was me showing up in love in those experiences, right? So that's just a little sample. So we are all going through a collective dark night of the soul. Every last one of us. Every last one of us. And to look, right, like it's almost like we all have like our little to-do lists, right? And there's like this list and it's like, hey, how long is your list? Some people only have like one or two things that they're really dealing with that they need to shine their light on, and that's freaking amazing. Some of us have a list. And so be kind. Be kind to each other. You know? Hold that space and know that we're all going through a dark night of the soul right now. We are all facing and dealing with our own internal weaknesses. Things that we weren't paying attention to, or we took for granted, or areas of lack of self-love, lack of self-worth, right? Really lack of self-worth. Because when you realize that you're worthy of being Christed, of owning that Christ light, right? When you realize you're worthy of owning that Christ light, we're supposed to build a container around it so it's protected and taken care of, right? That container can look in many different ways. So I know in my own world that I sabotage things that only weakened me. You know what I mean? I felt myself worthy of carrying the Christ light over here, but maybe not all the way over here. So the universe is now showing me that I need to carry that Christ light in those places too. Right? So carrying your light, and you can refer to it any way you want. It's carrying your light, right? So if you don't want to look at it as the Christed light, you don't have to. Most people will take that and try to associate it with Jesus. I do not. I don't associate that with Yeshua. Yeshua is his own story. I look at Yeshua as a guiding force to which we are here, right? He went through that horrific trauma, okay? So that we get the opportunity to walk in the reflection, to own that light. To not even walk in the reflection of it, however it is. Because if Yeshua stood in front of you right now, the majority of us would fall to our effing knees because we would feel so weak and powerless in the light of that being. Right? If Yeshua was to stand in front of us in the purest form of who that being is, we would crumble under the pressure because we wouldn't be able to see ourselves in that being. So we are at a time right now that it is up to us. It is up to each one of us. Wow. Wow. It's so funny because I'm dancing in this absolute knowing, pure love, and knowing that my words are true. And every once in a while, there's this part of me that gets hit with this wave of fear. And I'm like, what? Like, what the person knows that that's what they're doing or not, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just own the love that you are, right? Own the love that you are as we enter into these dark nights of the soul. That's all it is. Own the light that you are. Own your love. Shine that in each place, regardless of how it's showing up. You know, it's not pretty. And by no means is it supposed to be easy. It is the cross you bear. You chose to carry that level of a cross. It's true, you did. We all did. We all chose to carry that level of a cross so that we could open the gates and move to the other side. That's what we did. And so to deny that, that's insanity. That's insanity. We've already got this far. We've already got this far. Why would you deny it, right? So owning your light, moving forward with it. You are the Christed. And again, like I said, if you don't want to claim that title, you don't have to claim that title. You call your light anything you want, all right? Your love light, your unicorn, your rainbow. You can call your light anything you want. It is genderless. It is as vibrant as you choose to be. It is sparkly. It is whatever you want, yet make it authentic. And authentic doesn't mean it is perfect, picture perfect. Authentic means it's authentically you. Can you love all of those fragments of you? That is why we are here. That is why we are here, right? So I often think of like a kaleidoscope, right? You are a multicolored being. Can you look at yourself from within and see the light? Can you actually see the many colors of you and love them all? And stop worrying if somebody else loves them. Big time. Why do we care if somebody else loves our multicolored light? F them. Who cares if they love it? You love it. You love it. You know, I come from a place where I remember growing up, very judgy. You know what, I do love my roots. I do love where I come from. However, very, very judgmental ways of living, right? You had to appear a certain way, dress a certain, just so many little things, dress a certain way, uphold an image. You were only respected if there were, letters after your name or some level of prestigiousness. And that's all BS. We live in a society, in a world today that most of us know that's just BS. But there are still people who live in that kind of perception. And so with saying that, it made it difficult, to express who you are because what if they, I can't really, if I accept that aspect of me, but it doesn't create the image that they're saying that I won't be able to fit inside of their world. Well, fuck their world. Fuck their world. That world's an illusion. It's an illusionary world. So witnessing how women would dress, I was a really big girl at a young age, and I would watch these women dress like ways that I were told were unflattering, or don't you ever go out looking like that, or, blah, blah, blah. No, don't get me wrong. I still have a certain limit to the level of expression of self because it's really self-comfort. How comfortable do I feel in my own skin in order to express myself like that? But I'll tell you right now, if there are people who are comfortable enough in their own skin to wear and have to wear super tight shorts or whatever it is, and they don't have the physical perfection of their body, let them. Let them. If their fat roll is hanging out, if their fupa is showing, let them. Who are you? Who am I to say that what they're doing is inappropriate or I have any right to judge it? If they're comfortable enough to express themselves like that, then let them. In fact, that moment of judgment is your fear of seeing yourself like that. It's not that what they're doing is wrong. It's that you yourself don't have enough courage, or you just would prefer not to express yourself like that. then don't express yourself like that. We all have different forms of creative expression. Allow, I'm thinking right now of, I just love women so much. That is so beautiful. So I have seen women who are like complete nerdy. They look super nerdy, like beyond librarian nerdy, right? Like that image of like the librarian nerdy, right? Like super geeky nerdy that are like sexual divas that literally will wear outfits that are like, are you kidding me? And they can wear them with like, they can hold that energy down, no problem, dominatrix style, like crazy. Like powerhouse women who would appear to be, super geeky, nerdy, whatever it is. So it doesn't seem to match, right? Those two vibrations don't seem to match. And then I've seen people who are like, are you kidding me? They have the most gorgeous body, booty all day, flat abs, beautiful breasts, like unbelievable, beautifully cut, perfect little body, that would rather wear, maybe oversized clothes or, something all the way up to the neck, something very prim and proper, because they don't like expressing or showing their body in that way, right? So every last one of us is here to learn how to love the skin you're in and shine it outwardly. So if you judge another human being based off of your personal perception of how they look or speak or whatever it is, that is you judging the aspects of you, right? There are parts of you that are unhealed because you yourself don't feel comfortable in that expression. It's not up to you to feel comfortable in that expression. It's up to you to create a space for the other to express that expression, right? They already feel comfortable in it. They already feel comfortable in expressing that expression. It is up to each one of us to give them the space to do so. Now, there are sometimes people go a little beyond that. Well, you don't have to give them the extra beyond. If their ego shows up in it, then you create the space. Don't give them permission to shine the ego too. Just whatever, dude. If you're coming from that, then I don't really believe that you're that comfortable in it, right? If they're showing up from an ego-based expression, then they actually may not be as comfortable in that expression as they're portraying themselves to be. So allowing yourself to feel the difference of that. Okay? Let's see. It's just an example of what that means in the vibrational expression, right? So as we are all moving through this collective dark night of the soul, and it is a collective dark night of the soul, the last year was a good wake-up call for all of us to get closer to each other, to create a level of bonding, to shed certain layers and deal with certain fears. And now we're coming into the next layer of it. We really are. We're starting to move forward, and the world again has been shook up. And we're all dealing with our foundational issues, whatever that may be. Well, whatever that expression of it may be, right? Every last one of us has the initial wound of not enough, right? Not good enough, not worthy enough, not blah, blah, blah enough. And so in that core root of who we are, my personal opinion, the I am not enough statement, or I am enough, to own that level of I am enough is saying I am enough to reflect the light. I am enough to be the child of God or the child of the Creator. I am enough to hold and be the container for that light, for that Christed energy. Saying that I am enough is really owning the fact that you are enough to be a container for the Christed light. And again, put any terms to that you wish, but I am enough to be the container of the light. That's really what we're saying. And so, of course we have fear around that. Of course that's our primary wound. We are all so afraid because the story of Yeshua alone, you should be afraid. You should be afraid. Not one other human being would ever want to have to walk that level of painful path that Yeshua has walked in order to prove that he is of the Christed light. Right? No human being wants to be tortured and humiliated and beaten and betrayed. No human being, right? Who has that level of fortitude? Who has that level of endurance? Who has that level of masterful love? Who? So when you sit there and think the I am enough, right? I am enough to call myself the Christed. That's some big words. So in my opinion, that is why we are all at that core issue of the I am enough. The beauty of that is that together we are the Christed. It's not taking away from one man's journey. It is honoring and respecting that actually took place and owning the light within you. That's what this is, right? So I personally believe that, they say like, Jesus is coming. Yeah, he's inside of you. You are the Christed. I personally believe that the day that Yeshua actually decides to come back to this earthly plane and reflect that Christed light at other beings is when he actually sees that all the other beings are actually walking and owning the Christed light. How torturous would it be for Yeshua to show up right now and witness all these beings, bluntly put, shitting on the light that he made sure they got? How difficult of a journey. That Yeshua has no need to come back here and be tortured again and literally witnessing how broken the people are. He's not coming back to save people. He already did that. Why would he come back to save people? He wants to come back to celebrate with people. Yeshua wants to come back and go, whoa, this is why I did what I did. This is why I did what I did. Look at the level of light beings around me. Look at that powerfulness. That's the difference, right? Think about it. Putting yourself in those level of shoes for 1 second. To have endured that much pain, that much trauma, to come back to this earthly plane and see that his brethren, God's children, are suffering and not owning that light. Can you honestly, I'm watching, it's like triage. He's like running around trying to fix everybody. It's impossible. I'm hearing, fix yourselves. Why? Why would Yeshua come back here right now and witness this torture and believe it was his responsibility? He already did that. It is up to each one of us to do it for ourselves. Now, to understand how the human body works, I'm going to get a little scientific on you, right? So we've gone through that spiritual aspect to realize that you must own the light from within. Now, how does one access and amplify their light? Well, this is an energy system. Your body is an energy system. Each cell has the ability to be light. Each cell is light. Each cell has the ability to shine light. I forget something about the amount of energy one human being has in their body could light up New York or something. There's a test that's been done that it's like they could actually like keep all the lights on somewhere. It's like this unbelievable amount of energy that one human body has within it. So imagine having the ability to claim and own your cells, to amplify your cells and shine and see how big and bright you are. Now, so to understand the human body, I love this. An old friend of mine said to me before that he was a biologist. Our bodies are a petri dish of bacteria, right? So every cell on your body, it's just bacteria. We're just shit tons of bacteria. How pure of bacteria are you carrying, right? So if the bacteria of your body has been dirty, filthy, corrupted, just ick, then that is the darkness, right? So owning your individual light, amplifying it, right? Making it that much more, purifying your cells, right? So when we talk about clean eating and healthy stuff, people go, why? There's a lot of spiritual people that I know. Like there's a lot of highly spiritual, religious people that I know who do not take care of their bodies at all. At all. And the thing is that's the temple. That's where the Christ-lighted energy is. It's this energy outside of them. They keep talking about this energy outside of them. It's not outside of them. It's already inside of us. So it is up to each one of us. That's what they say, being the light tower, right? So the more you clean the system, the more your light amplifies. I tell people all the time, I go, God, we keep reaching outside of us going, God, tell us how to do it. Give us the map, give us the understanding. God goes, I already gave it to you. It's inside. It's inside of your body. The one place we didn't want to look, right? So many of us do things to keep ourselves healthy to a degree, but we do so kind of willy-nilly, right? We do so based off of a perception of what we think it's supposed to be like versus actually going inside of the body and cleansing and healing it and giving it the vibration that each aspect of ourselves requires, right? So like your bones vibrate differently than your organs, and your organs vibrate differently than your muscles, right? So each one of those cells is pulsating a vibration, and those vibrations literally are how the light, right? How light functions within them, right? And so if we're giving the organs a pulse vibration that is more in alignment with a bone's vibration, right? Then something's out of whack, right? So there's a distortion in the vibration or in the light within us. So it's learning how that works. It's learning how to feed and nourish each aspect of the body with the appropriate vibration that part of the body is meant to have. Interesting. So, and that's just like why people get sick, how we try to use pills to quick fix things. And honor a light. Own the light. That's what it is. So, wow. Lots of information in this video. I wish I knew how to edit videos because I would edit this and make it quick snippets. I might have to see if I have a friend that could help me with that. If you've made it through to this almost 40 minutes of me explaining, communicating, ranting about the vibration and this dark night of the soul passage that we're all going through right now, and how it will show up and how to deal with it, right? So as you're moving through the dark night of our souls, all of us are going through these collective dark night of the souls, there are certain things that we want to look at. We want to look at the vibration of ourselves? Are we meeting it internally with love? Because that which is happening externally from us is merely a reflection of where the internal battle is. Right? So the internal battle that we are experiencing, God is showing us on the outside. And again, call God whatever you want, universe, energy, whatever it is. Whatever we're experiencing is that of where we didn't believe we were worthy of being the container for the Christ light. Interesting concept, right? So I would love to hear your feedback. I would love to know what you are hearing from this video. Because for me, this is how I've seen it for a long time. And I as well, I got my shit, man. I got my path, I got my cross to walk with. Can we do it with love? Dark night of the soul's vibrations are scary. They're scary. They're meant to be. It's meant to be scary. During our worst times, God wants to know who we chose. And again, it's not about choosing God outside. It's about choosing the God inside. The God inside of you. Your light. Your light. Can you choose to shine and love your light in those dark times? I know for myself, sometimes, most of the time, I can't guarantee perfect, right? And I'm hearing right now, just like Yeshua when he carried the cross and he fell, right? We all fall. It's about picking ourselves back up again. Doing it from a place of love. And knowing that we're doing it for everyone. We're not just doing it for ourselves. You know, oftentimes when we fall, we just want to stay down because we're like, oh, what the fuck's the point, right? What if the point was because that little child, that little girl that you know or lives next to you, or your personal child, if you don't carry that cross, then they won't know how to. You're doing it so that either they can learn or so that they don't have to carry that level of a cross. That's why we do it. It's not to self-serve our own ego. That's a reward at the end. The reward at the end is that you can look at yourself and be like, holy shit, I did it. Okay, you can look in the mirror and shine that light and be proud of you. But you're not doing it for you in those moments. Remember that. Or you'll never do it. I'll tell you right now, if you're choosing to do it based off of, you know, thinking it's because to prove, you know, for whatever reason, whatever outlandish, egoic reason you believe, you know, it or shows up in that moment, that's all bullshit. You're not doing it for those reasons. You're doing it so that the others, the younger tribe and all, that they don't have to. So that others don't have to. I dare you. I dare you. Shine that light in all the dark spaces. Be kind to others, because we're all going through it together. Every last one of us. All right. No more tears. I love you guys. Mwah. Peace out, tribe.